Hi, I'm Lisa Shield. Welcome to Emotionally Naked Dating, finding true love with nothing to hide. Today, I am going to talk to you about unconditional love. I just happened to pull this book randomly out of my shelf. It's by John Powell. It's called Unconditional Love. Imagine that. And I love his work. He writes some very, very beautiful books. You may want to go on Amazon and check them out. He's got some great titles that really relate to dating and self-love, and he's just a beautiful writer. And I opened up to a random page, and there was a beautiful poem that we all are familiar with but may not have heard in its entirety. So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how it related to my dating journey and how you can relate it to yours. So, the road not taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Robert Frost. Well, that's what I did in my dating journey. I stood at a fork in the road, and I knew I could continue doing what I'd always been doing, or I could go down the road less traveled by. I could take the other path, the one that was less familiar, and take a risk. Now, most people, when they date, they read a million books, they listen to podcasts and keep searching and looking for the answers, and they go down a road where they're searching for the one, some spectacular chemical combustion, some, amazingly exciting, off the charts kind of love. Well, I stood back and I realized what I was searching for was not the one. I was looking for unconditional love. That was really my true path. And so I went on the road less traveled. And what I knew was that if somebody was going to love me unconditionally, I would have to first learn how to love him unconditionally. So everything actually works in reverse. In order to get the love I wanted, I had to first be willing to give it. And so I went on almost 100 first dates. I went on 96 dates with 96 different men. And many of those men were lovely, lovely people. But I would sit back and I would ask myself, can I love this man unconditionally? Can I accept him exactly the way he is? And if the answer that came back to me was no, then I knew it wasn't a match, and I moved on. I gave myself permission to let go of some possibly very good men. Maybe if I had gone on another date or two, something would have sparked. But if I wasn't feeling it, I wasn't feeling it, no matter how nice they were. And if I missed a few good people along the way, I was okay with that. I wanted to trust my gut. And as one of my clients says, I wanted a true hell yes. I didn't want an okay or a maybe. I knew that I would know in my gut, in my heart of hearts, the moment I met this man, that he was a true hell yes. And so I was willing to go on as many dates as I had to. I was willing to go down that road less traveled and keep saying no and no and no until I felt that one true hell yes. And the thing I was searching for was true and unconditional love. So when Benjamin sat down in front of me, I got that feeling. I knew that this man was different, that this man was extraordinary. And I didn't know how our lives were going to fit together. I had no roadmap for this. It was the road less traveled. There was nothing about it that felt familiar. There was nothing about him that felt familiar. And I was wise enough by then to know that that was a really good thing, because what had been familiar to me in the past hadn't worked. It hadn't been the right person. And so I trusted the newness, the lack of familiarity. And I trusted that my intuition, that he was exceptional, was really right. And I looked at him and I knew, I just knew in my heart of hearts, in my soul, that this man was extraordinary and that I could trust him, that there was something special here, that this was the road I wanted to go down, even though I didn't have a precedent or a map for it. And I have to say that 16 years later, I'm happier and more fulfilled than when we first met. I love him more. The sex is better. Our conversations are even deeper. The connection is profound. And I feel like I trusted my gut. And this is what I want for you. I want you to go down that road less traveled. I want you to listen to yourself and to your inner wisdom. I want you to give yourself permission to pass on some people who may not be right for you and not agonize over this. It's okay if you pass on a few really good men. It's okay if that happens. You can still date and you can meet some wonderful people, and if they're not right, they're not right. If the timing isn't right, if it just doesn't feel right for you in that moment, that's okay. You'll meet somebody, he's out there, and you have to trust your inner knowing. You want that hell yes. And when I say hell yes, I don't mean that it's going to be fireworks and butterflies. It's a different kind of feeling. I want you to know that it's not over the top. It's not some, oh my God, I met him. It's a knowing inside of you that this is right, that we're meant to be together, that there's something different here. It won't feel like anything you've ever felt before. So I want to share with you that going down that road less traveled led me to a man who loves me unconditionally. And it's been extraordinary. In fact, the other evening he said, "What time are you getting off work?" And I said, 7. And he was out running some errands. He said, "I'll meet you at the Waldorf Astoria, this beautiful hotel that just opened up in Los Angeles not too long ago." And so I had no idea what was going on. We met there. And when I showed up, he said, he stood up and he took my hands and he had tears in his eyes. And I thought, oh my God, for a moment, I wondered, was there something wrong, or was he going to tell me that he wasn't well? I was actually a little scared. And then he looked at me and he said, "You know, Judy and Helen and Gary, your mother and your grandmother and your father never really told you how amazing you are." And he said, "I wanted you to know how much I admire you and how much I respect you." And he was specifically wanting to congratulate me on my coaching program that I've created. And he said, "You know, you created this out of thin air. Nobody did it for you. You created it out of your own imagination and your own vision." And he said, "I just want you to know how much I love you and respect you and how proud I am of you." And it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life, because I could see how much he loves me and how much he sees who I am as a person. And that all came from me being willing to love and accept him exactly the way he is. It's been an extraordinary journey going down that road less traveled. And when I did, I found Benjamin and I found unconditional love. And this is what I want for you. So I have created a beautiful webinar. It's called How to Conquer the Dating World in 5 Simple Steps and Attract a man who will cherish you, adore you, and love you forever, even if you've never been in a successful relationship. It's my gift to you. Please go to lisashield.com to sign up. And I'm Lisa Shield. This has been Emotionally Naked Dating, finding true love with nothing to hide. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.